good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, wherever you are joining from. A very warm welcome to this session. I'm Punsu Choden, and I'm truly excited to be your moderator today. Our session is on a topic very close to my heart, that is Indigenous evaluation, which reminds us of the importance of the context, culture, and Indigenous knowledge in practice of evaluation. The topic for today's session, as you see, is from Indigenous voices to national dialogue, experiences strengthening Indigenous evaluation in Nepal. We are fortunate to have two esteemed speakers with us who I will be introducing very shortly. They will share their experiences from Nepal based on the work supported through the germinating grant of Eval Indigenous and Asia Pacific Evaluation Association, APEA. So I invite you all to be engaged, to listen, and to reflect. I am sure this session will spark meaningful conversation and inspire us all. With this, I would also like to remind you, uh, can you go to the next slide? Next slide, please. So I have few audience reminder here. Kindly keep your microphone and video disabled to lessen the load on your internet bandwidth and to preserve the event quality. And for questions and concerns, please leave them in the chat bar. And do not record during the webinar. The webinar recording will be shared and uploaded on the APEA website. With this, now I would like to invite Chimgay to deliver the opening remarks. Chimgay is the founder and the president of Mongolian Evaluation Association. It is yours now, Chimgay.
Thank you very much, Ms. Puncha. Sorry, my internet is not working well, so I'll just go ahead with this audio. So first of all, I would like to congratulate Bhutan and team for this great webinar and this winning this germinating seed, witness of the APEA at the regional WOPA supporting the national WOPIs for this country-led and even the contextualized various types of evaluation, so which we can carry on the baton in our own context. I'm also happy to share that the Mongolian Evaluation Association won the seed grant from APEA last year for the reindeer people, where we had to go to the coldest, I would say the coldest area in the world, where there's a constant snow, and then only reindeer people could afford living there. And then the protect areas was protected, but their voice was not there when the government decision was made, which really affects their well-being well-being and health and well-being. So with support of APEA's this seed and germinating approach at national level, we are really taking this agenda of contextualizing the Indigenous empowering evaluation in our own context. And I really hope this session will encourage, as Dr. Puncha said, encourage us and really think deeply how we can support our VOPs and then young and emerging evaluators to be a part of this humble yet very great agenda in evaluation. And thank you for this opportunity, and I wish you all the best with this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimge. And now let me introduce our two speakers. We have Dr. Bhuvan Bajracharya. He is an independent development economist with over 40 years of experience in planning, poverty analysis, economic and fiscal policy, monitoring and evaluation, and socioeconomic research. He earned his PhD in economics from the Delhi School of Economics under Delhi University. He has served as senior economic advisor to Nepal's National Planning Commission and Ministry of Finance, and has worked with international organizations such as ADB, UNDP, World Bank, and DFID. He is currently the chairperson to Nepal Evaluation Society. And we have other speaker, Mr. Pravin Chitakar. He is the chairperson of the Community of Evaluators, Nepal, with more than 20 years of experience in the social and development sector, including over 15 years specialization in monitoring and evaluation. He has led and contributed to evaluations, research, and capacity building initiatives with the government of Nepal, UN agencies, and national and international NGOs. He is actively engaged in strengthening evaluation capacity, advancing knowledge sharing, and promoting indigenous evaluation practices to ensure contextually relevant and culturally grounded evaluation in Nepal. So now I will hand over the platform to our first speaker and to also remind him of the timing. So he gets uh, 12 minutes to make the presentation, and I will remind the timing when you have 1 minute left. So now I will hand over the platform to the first speaker.
Thank you so much, Dr. Foncho, for your introduction. Let me share my slides. I hope you can see my slide properly.
Yes.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. In my presentation, I'll be sharing experiences from our activities on strengthening indigenous evaluation in Nepal. In my presentation, I may have more content, so I will try to make it brief considering the time allocated for my presentation. Uh, In my presentation, I will be sharing experiences from our activities on strengthening indigenous evaluation in Nepal. CU Nepal in 2023 started its initiative in strengthening indigenous evaluation with the support of APEA and Eval Indigenous. And with the continued support from APEA and Eval Indigenous, we are able to, and we got an opportunity to continue our initiatives. And in 2024-25, we were able to conduct initiatives and initiatives with two major activities. The first activity was the pilot study on the identification of indicators for SDG 3, good health and well-being. And the second activity was the workshop on strengthening indigenous evaluation practices in Nepal. And and in regards to the first activity, which was the pilot study, we conducted the study within the Tamang community at Konjosham Rural Municipality of Lalitpur district in Nepal. So why did we conduct within the Tamang community and in the Konjosham Rural Municipality? So, because the resources available from the germinating grant fund, we wanted to make it full utilize and maximum utilize. So to utilize it best, we had to choose the location which is closer to the city, which is easily accessible. So we choose the Konjusum rural municipality, which is only 22 kilometers away from the main town of the Lalitpur district. And regarding the community, Tamang community is one of the indigenous communities among 59 indigenous communities in Nepal, and which represents 5.62% of the total population of Nepal. And Konjusum rural municipality being so close to the main city of Lalitpur district, it is very remote and has a limited access to the major development facilities. So due to these reasons, we thought this would be the best location and community for the study. And the main objective of the study was to identify the indicators of SDG 3 from the perspective of the indigenous community. The second objective was to compare the relevance of the indicators of SDG, which was identified by the communities and nationally adopted. And third objective was to understand the broader perspective of the health of the Tamang community in the Konjusung rural municipality. So the study team of the study was a small group members from the COE Nepal, including the local leaders and community members from the indigenous community. And all the members voluntarily supported the study. Regarding the methodology, we try to make it participatory approach, including the local leaders, social activities, and school teachers from the study community. And the data collection was done from the focus group discussions and key informant interviews, which was done in the separate groups as well. And data was analyzed mainly on the qualitative data, and the preliminary findings were shared during the workshop that we organized as a second part of the initiative of the project. And the feedbacks and suggestions, those were received from that workshop. We try to integrate them in the final report, following up to the community and getting information from that community. Regarding the participant, you can see here some of the diagrams. There were a total of 31 respondents from the community, including the women, men, youth, senior citizens, and government representatives, social activities, and more. So from the findings of the study, we try to find out some of the positive aspects as well the negative aspects from the community, and we categorized in the 6 different categories. And the first was the health status and the access to the service in the community. While looking to it about the positive aspects, we found that health post in the local, the community is located within like 30 minutes from all the households. There were the active volunteers who were supporting in the community, and there are facilities provided by the government. I'm not going through all the points due to the time allocated from my presentation. So I do have a lot of contents, but I'm just try to be brief. So while looking in the negative aspects, we found that the trend of the community is to consult with the traditional healers at the beginning, and they have a low awareness and education regarding the health matters. And second category was the livelihood and the food habits. We found that there is a strong culture identified, maintained regarding the traditional food, especially during the festivals. But there is some negative aspects, which is the use of junk foods due to the time limit of the household women with their heavy burdens of the work. And third was the gender youth and mental health. There are younger generation who does seek the healthcare. However, the older generations discourage, especially women, for accessing the formal healthcare. There is a lot of consumption of the alcohol use. And the fourth category we tried to figure out was the cultural practice and traditional health benefits. So there is a strong belief in traditional healers. which is called a jhakri. Most of the people already goes to the jhakri for the treatment. Likewise, the negative aspect is due to that culture, there is a delay in formal medical care, which can worsen the health outcomes. And the fifth category that we try to figure out was the indigenous knowledge and cultural identity. So here we found the positive aspects was like the knowledge of the traditions, the values, language are passed to the newer generation by the families. And the language of the Tamang community are spoken widely, and it is taught in the school as well, and it is promoted as well. So we couldn't find any negative aspect on this. And the sixth category was the cultural practice and traditional health benefits. So there are benefits prioritized by the government in the community. And there are NGOs who are providing the awareness programs on the health. Another objective was to compare the SDG indicators that we have, from the community. So we categorize like which one are the high relevant and which has the low relevance. So in the high relevance, the indicators that are nationally adapted in the SDG 3, among those, there are indicators which found to be highly relevant based on that particular community, and those are maternal health, child nutrition, immunization rates, communicable disease, access to health services, substance abuse, mental health, reproductive health, gender equality in healthcare. Those seems to be highly relevant. I'm not going through all the indicators. Um, um, so while looking through the role relevance indicators, we found three of the indicators to have a role relevance in that particular community, and those are non-communicable disease, road safety, and pollution and environmental health. So while looking into these indicators and try to compare the relevance, we found some of the key issues. We identify those issues like national indicators frameworks lacks the cultural adaptation of the indigenous context. So indicators need to be incorporated regarding the indigenous perspective, especially on the reliance on the traditional healers and cultural practices around the community health. And the second activity was the workshop on strengthening indigenous evaluation practices in Nepal, which was conducted on 4th February 2025. And the main objective of the workshop was to share the preliminary findings from the SDG3 indicator study. The second objective was to facilitate discussion on indigenous evaluation practices and challenges faced in Nepal. And third objective was to uh, for formation of the national network for evaluation in Nepal, and to develop the action plan and the way forward. So participant of the workshop was around 40 participants that included the government representative from the government, parliamentarians, UN agencies, international and national NGOs, universities, indigenous evaluators, indigenous community members, young and emerging evaluators, and professionals evaluators from various communities. And the workshop had two main sessions. The first session was the opening session, which was inaugurated and addressed by the Honorable Professor Dr. Sivaraj Adhikari, who is the chairman of National Planning Commission. Likewise, Dr. Fiona Cram from Eval Indigenous and Professor Yoko Istida from APEA also expressed their remarks during the the opening session of the workshop. Likewise, there were remarks shared by different organizations and parliamentarians, UN agencies, Young and Emerging Evaluate Nepal, Nepal Evaluation Society, and indigenous communities and VOPs as well. So, especially in the opening sessions, there were discussions about the evaluation status of Nepal, how it can be enhanced, and especially in the indigenous evaluation, as well as there was
But
sharing about the different.
you have 1 minute left to conclude your presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Funcho. I'll try to make it brief. So there was a sharing from the different organization about their activities in the respective field. So there were technical sessions after the opening sessions, and we had 3 sessions mainly in those technical sessions. I'm not again going through all this. And we had a very fruitful group discussion on the current status, challenges, opportunities, and way forward regarding the status of Nepal, especially in indigenous evaluation. And it was a very good discussion. And one of the objective was to formation of the national network of evaluation in Nepal. This session was held at the end of the workshop, so we had a very less participation during this session, and participants from the major stakeholders were already left, especially from the government of Nepal, parliamentarians, UN agencies, due to their other priorities. So we were not able to form the national network despite the interest from the present participants, and we postponed it for the later to make it more inclusive and to make it all the major stakeholders included in the network. And after the workshop, we had a call for the feedbacks from the participants, and we did this online because during the workshop we could not do due to the very little number of participants available. So among the responses from the participants, we tried to look into the usefulness of the workshop, and from that we found like around 80% of the participants responded the sessions to be extremely useful and very useful. Another question that we asked for the participant was if the formation of the national network for evaluation in Nepal would be beneficial. And among the total 23 responses, we got 22 responses saying yes and 1 responses saying maybe. So here are some of the outcomes and achievements. This is not only from the workshop, this is from overall Germinating Fund project. And we were able to conduct a comprehensive pilot study on SDG3 indicators. And we were able to organize a national level workshop, and we step towards the formation of a national network.
Mr.
And
Pet, may
oh,
complete
I'll stop. Yeah, I'll stop here. Thank you so much.
Dr. Puncha, you're muted. Dr. Puncha, you're muted.
Okay, so how do I get rid of this echoing?
Lot of echo.
Doctor, have you joined from both your phone and your computer?
I think
It might
Madam
be that.
Funcho has. I think Madam Funcho has opened 2 windows. Normally, that
Yes.
is when you get echo. Just check whether there is a second window open, please.
No sound.
You're muted. You're muted on your computer.
Is it okay now? Sorry about
Since Dr. Pincher is having some technical issues, Buan, please present.
Okay, okay. Let me share. Could you get it?
Yes, we are able to see that.
Please
Okay.
make it full screen.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now I think you can see the screen. So it's again the same germination grant we are working.
Please make it full screen, Buan. Slide.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And so far the NES is concerned, National Nepal Evaluation Society, we did our program for journalists of the indigenous nationalities, and it was organized in February 8, 9, 2025. And as you can see, it is under the germination grant for indigenous evaluation, knowledge transfer, and all that. Which under which COE Nepal has also done its work. And why we have selected these journalists as a target group? And when we did our seed grant, that was for the these parliamentarians from indigenous nationalities. And that time, some of the people, they said that it is very much needed for journalist also. That is one of the reasons we have taken this subject matter. And the other is, you say, coverage of the indigenous nationalities in the evaluation exercises. It is very, very limited. There are quite a few reasons for this. One reason is not getting sufficient attention and the priority from the policymaker, decision makers. That is one reason. And another is we don't have enough disaggregated data because we have almost more than 120 in these indigenous nationalities, and we don't have such national level data for each of them. They are sometimes categorized into different categories, but for individual nationality, sometimes it is quite difficult to get disaggregate that data, and that prevents such analysis at that level. And the other is definitely now a little later I try to explain, we don't have enough attention given to culturally responsive evaluation, relational accountability, and all those things at the community level, you say. And because of this, coverage is quite limited. And the other is reporting of the evaluation of development initiatives on indigenous nationalities. That is also quite limited. Uh, One reason is low coverage in the evaluation exercise, and the low coverage is because of the reasons I have just stated above, and not enough pressure for indigenous evaluation. Uh, as you can see, these decision makers, policy makers, sometimes they tend to overlook these indigenous peoples. And so far as indigenous peoples are concerned, they have a low voice, you see. So not enough demand, not enough pressure for indigenous evaluation. That part is there. And another is definitely those who report, those who are involved in evaluation, they have inadequate conceptual and technical clarity. That is also the case. And now, realizing all these things, these indigenous nationalities journalists, they are now organized. They have one federation, and at the level below, they have got individual associations also for different national indigenous nationalities. So they have started creating demand for development programs and their evaluation. put pressure upon the decision makers and increase the reporting coverage on indigenous nationalities. So now some organized effort now in place. So now, as I said little while ago, it is from seed grant to germination grant. In the seed grant, we cover indigenous parliamentarians, somehow little limited group at the central level, and then now widening this to reach out to more general public level. This germination grant now we work together with this FONIS, Federation of Nepalese Indigenous Journalists, which have associations of individual indigenous nationalities and their associations, and they have these committees across the countries, and we have invited participants from 7 provinces also. So in terms of geographic coverage, it is much more wider, and we try to go little beyond central level people. So that way we are trying to say that, okay, uh, from the seed, now it has started germinating, you see. And the target group and the objectives, as I said, target groups is office bearers and the others members of Federation of Nepalese Indigenous Journalists and its 7 provincial units. And the objectives are introduce them with concept and technical aspects of development evaluation and the role of the journalist in evaluation exercises. And in that context, OECD DAC criteria that is introduced to them, national evaluation system, and sharing their own experiences in evaluation and reporting during the workshop so that they can get some sort of feedback from other colleagues also, whether they are doing in a right way or not, some shortcomings are there or not, some strengths, right? Those things are discussed in the workshop. So what we did, we closely collaborated with FONIS, National Planning Commission, and our Evaluate group here, Evaluate Nepal. So we three of us worked together. And we share the relevant documents, ENPC guideline and monitoring and evaluation, OECD document. And most importantly, APEA flyers and OECD DAC criteria, which is already translated in Nepali. So we had this training come workshop on February 8 and 9. And as I said little while ago, FONIS has national, it is a national umbrella which has a nationwide networking. It has got 7 federal committees, 7 provincial units, 64 district committees, 8 international branches, 8 institutional members. And at the moment, we have reached these federal committees and the provincial units for getting their participation in the program as such. So on the days of the training program, because it was a 2 days program, we had inauguration address by Honorable Vice Chairman Professor Shivaraj Adhikari, once again from National Planning Commission, and we had 4 presentations made, each on conceptual and technical aspects, National Evaluation Society, OECD DAC criteria, and sharing FONIS experiences in evaluation and reporting. Those 4 papers were presented, and definitely there are time for interactions. And another aspect we have put is we have one session on panel discussion also, in which parliamentarians, POPE, development practitioner, and young and emerging evaluators, they share their experiences in evaluation. So that has given some sort of opportunity to widen the perspective. And the group works, we had presentations, 3 groups, and the presentation of the evaluation of training come workshop that was also done. And in the closing session, we had remarks from 2 participants, 1 male and 1 female. So this is how we conducted our program. And there are some interesting messages from Professor Shiva Adhikari, who inaugurated the program. Yeah, he actually recalled some of the stops. To do right things in right ways calls for evaluation. So he sent out the message that evaluation is quite critical. State functions always demand evaluation. impact evaluation need to cover benefit from intersectoral synergy. This is something new he has propagated, because usually we tend to cover only one sector in which the program is undertaken. Now he's emphasizing upon intersectoral because other sectors also might have implications. And the emphasis upon community engagement, culturally responsive evaluation, and the community-led evaluation. These are the emphasis he has put. And the one another important stuff is journalists connect people with governments through correct and balanced reporting. And each of the presentations cover these different points. Definitely, I wouldn't like to get to all these details because of the time limit. These are the points covered in each of the presentations. And the messages from the panel discussion, parliamentarians, they gave the message that it is important for parliamentarians and journalists, and they have more or less similar functions. Only difference is parliamentarians monitor government activities, while journalists go to general public for public opinion creation. And it helps evidence-based decision-making, reporting, evaluation needed for success of development initiatives. Recent M&E Act significant landmark need to understand concept and technical aspects. These are the stuff parliamentarians highlight. And the Pope in this presentation is made by none other than our Provinji, right? So his emphasis was upon Pope contributes to institutionalized evaluation, helps in networking, capacity building, advocacy, and lobbying. And development practitioners, they share their experiences critical for bringing out emerging issues, inclusion aspects, ESTG progress, and media coverage on these aspects are not adequate and limited. That's what they have highlighted. And the adequate budget need to be set aside for evaluation. That is usually the problem everywhere. And the young and emerging evaluators, uh, this is from Evaluate Nepal. So they say that they are working on capacity building, networking, collaboration. All of them uh, introduce themselves to our participants. And then what the participants said after group works and the in closing remarks. In group works, they feel that even if they do these evaluation works, they lack the clarity in technical part, you see. So they said that though they work on evaluation, in their works effectiveness part not well covered, because we'd like to make them some sort of self-evaluation, need for more social impact analysis, and some felt relevance part is inadequately covered in their works. And so far as in the closing remark, some observation made by them, in their works never evaluated in terms of inputs, outputs, and the impact. That means they don't work so systematically. And this program has helped them in getting clarity in conceptual and technical aspects, and the understanding and the need for community engagement in evaluation. So they also said that we need to reach out to the local levels also. I mean, local government also. We have 753 local governments. And the messages from the whole event.
Dr.
Okay, I think
please
I almost
conclude.
reached to the
We have
end.
1 minute left.
Okay. Program very good from knowing the conceptual and technical aspects, right, for systematic evaluation. Need to reach out to provincial and the local government. Follow-ups are needed. Networking with POPE is critical for capacity building. More efforts needed for advocacy, institutionalized and capacity building. Evaluation practices in Nepal still at the nascent phase for many. Community engagement needs more highlights. So these are the messages from the overall event as such. And what next? Now, limiting to these journalists, Phoenix is planning to have this sort of training nationwide at the local level, and the purpose is to collaborate with Nepal Evaluation Society, for that matter, any of the POPE that's possible. And they saw the importance of this systematic, organized, and evidence-based reporting. So they would like to go for uh, uh, other programs at local level and the provincial level. And the NES, for that matter, any POPE, they are ready to provide technical assistance. And at the next level, we'd like to focus on the community engagement, use of indigenous evaluation toolkits, and for capacity building. So these are the some of the areas we can cover in our next phase. So that's all. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor, for making it in time. And I would like to apologize for the technical problem issue which I was encountering. I'm very sorry about that. And now, thank you, both the speakers, for a very insightful presentation. And before we jump to the Q&A session, we have group photo session here, picture. And please put on your camera, all the participants.
Ahmed, over to you. Ahmed.
Yes, please open your camera, all participants. Yeah, we just have one page. Smile. Okay, thank you.
Done now?
Yeah, over to you, Dr.
Yes.
Punchu, with the speakers.
Now let me go to the Q&A sessions. And
Yeah.
there are a few questions in the chat box I could see here. And let me go by order here. So first question is posted by Hemantha Kumar Pamarthe. And the question is asking about, I think the idea of involving journalists and the parliamentarian is good thing, and also asking for do we have institutions similar to Phonage in other countries as well? If
Okay.
so, which countries? So could Dr. Bhuban answer to this question?
Oh, sorry. Well, what was the question? I just
Do we have institutions similar to Phonage in other countries as well?
oh
And
oh
if
I'm
so, which country? Do you
yeah
know about this? Yeah.
I'm not quite sure about that, but I think some other countries might also have that sort of federation covering different indigenous communities. But at the moment, sorry for that, I'm not aware for other countries.
And the next question is, I think both of you can answer this. Can a copy of MNE Act be circulated? Quite sounds quite interesting. So, is there any access where people can access this act?
Yes, of course. We can share you the link of the M&A Act. However, we are still waiting for the English version of the M&A Act. Currently, we do only have the Nepali version. I will share with you the link of the Nepali version here in the chat box. Thank you.
So before I jump to the next question, so this is quite related to the M&E Act. So I would like to put in my question here. I would like to know that what is the stand of indigenous evaluation or culturally responsive evaluation in the M&E Act 2024? And also, I would like to know, like, Are there localized guidelines and framework of evaluation that are in practice in Nepal?
Can I respond to this?
Please.
Sure.
Okay. So Nepal actually passed the M&A Act 2024 in March 2024, which is first and dedicated instrument to legalize the M&A in Nepal. Regarding the inclusion of indigenous evaluation or culturally responsible evaluation in the act itself, it does not spell the word like indigenous evaluation or culturally responsible evaluation within the act itself. However, there is a possibility, and there is a possibility to those to be included in bylaws of the act and localized guidelines. In regards to the guidelines, we still do not have the guidelines based on the M&A Act. However, we do have some guidelines on the monitoring and evaluation in Nepal. So we are still waiting for the bylaws and the guidelines based on the M&A Act.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the next question is from Raju, and he's asking like, how is culturally responsive evaluation or study? How is this different from IMIC perspective that is prevalent in anthropology study? So, can who will answer? Like,
May I
Okay.
kindly ask Dr. Vaughan to respond this question, because he has more experience than me.
yeah.
I think maybe he.
Okay.
Thank you.
My feeling is, you say, a culturally responsive evaluation uh, practices here, they don't cover it so nicely and so explicitly. And I should say that people are not that much aware also. In the context of this community involvement, definitely most of the time they are taken as beneficiaries, and we reach out to them for getting their feedbacks, but not engaging them in the process as such. And in that context, this culturally responsibility and all those things, they are far off things at the moment. Some individuals, some projects might have done that, but at the national level and the more wider level, that sort of engagement of the community, that is quite much less at the moment. And that's the reason in my presentation I have tried to say that this evaluation practices, that is still in the nascent phase here in Nepal, it is mostly at the government project level, focusing upon OECD that criteria, right? Limiting to that only. Thank you.
Okay, so the continuation question is asking, like, please share your experience of how these initiatives have shaped the national dialogue, either on thematic areas or broadening the scope or areas of evaluation system in Nepal. So, this question is for Dr. Bhuvan, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would like to link this question once again with whatever answer I have just given a little while ago. We are still in the nascent stage so far as evaluation practices are concerned, and they're quite uh, limited to often OECD DAC criteria, and we used to take these communities in engagement most as a beneficiaries and all that. Uh, and I think Provinji will also throw some light our own engagement as Popage, we try to be in touch with National Planning Commission in designing and in framing this integrated action plan for monitoring and evaluation. And in this framing of, in the context of this monitoring and evaluation act also, we have provided our feedbacks. We are engaged in that process, and we have shared whatever we know to broaden the scope of the coverage, you say. But I should also say that at the moment they are still very much limited to OECD criteria and some institutional mechanism to do M&E jobs at federal level, at provincial level, and the local level. So other aspects still not so much covered at the moment.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Hope we answered your questions here. If there is any other question, you can unmute yourself and speak up, as well as post it on the chat box also. So meanwhile, let me ask this question while we are waiting for other questions to come in. And uh, it's really about the findings you have seen in your work. This question is Mr. Pravin, and it is really about the less relevant SDG indicators, which really talks about how relevant the context matters, right? So, do you think what policy makers are thinking about this finding, especially on the SDG indicators? Will the indicators be corrected or adjusted? What do you think about this?
Thank you, Dr. Funcho, for your question. Actually, the study that we did was the pilot study, and we could cover only SDG 3. And we could cover with the indigenous community from the Tamang community from the particular location. The
Mhm.
Tamil community is one of the 59 indigenous communities in Nepal. So, what we have learned from that study might be very limited to represent the overall indigenous community of Nepal. That is one concern. Another thing to present the findings as an overall indigenous perspective of Nepal. We would need more studies like this, because this is just a pilot study. So we would need to cover more indigenous community from different regions of Nepal. So in this context, we were still not able to share our findings directly with the policymakers and the governments. However, we had shared our sharings within our reports of the Germany Fund with the wider communities. So there has still been some, a kind of gap between the communication from the policymakers and ourselves. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And also, next question, which I'm very much interested to find out. So, when we talk about the indigenous evaluation and the source of, we see the indigenous knowledge as the source of knowledge, and but I'm wondering, like, what is the take of ways of indigenous evaluation? Do you feel that are are they interested, or what are some initiatives happening in your country? If
Let me respond my experience, and maybe Dr. Vaughan can add. Mm, as per my experience, um, young and emerging evaluators has been always been very interested in learning and sharing in regards not only the indigenous evaluation but overall evaluation in the context of Nepal. I have
okay,
seen that has been very interested. So I think we do have we do have representative from young and emerging evaluators in our event today. So they might also add their experiences to your questions. Thank you.
okay, thank you very much. And if Dr. Bhuvan, would you like to say something on this?
Uh, I think you are asking the question on indigenous knowledge system, right?
Yeah, and how our like YE in Nepal or the Eval Youth chapter in Nepal, are they interested, and what is their take of indigenous evaluation? Are they interested?
Oh, yeah, definitely. uh, these evaluators at our level, YEE and the POPE members, because they have exposed to these new coverage in the evaluation practices as such. They are quite aware and they would like to propagate it to wider audience, right? So maybe next time we'll be taking all these messages to National Planning Commission, also see how they need to get covered in, because at the moment we have EMLA Act only, but its details we are still waiting for. And in that situation, definitely we can provide our inputs to in these different areas to them. So that way, definitely POPE as well as Evaluate Nepal, we are very much interested in this particular area, right? And in this, two things I would like to share, you see. One is definitely we have indigenous knowledge which are very good and which need to be multiplicated. And let me give you one interesting example. Recently, we have seen uh, we have a pond system in our urban framework, right? In our urban framework, and lately when they get filled up when they get filled up for this repair and the maintenance context, they dig out that stuff and they go for cementing and all those new technologies, and which did not work for withholding the water as such. You see, they just water just vanishes, and ultimately they go for traditional technologies, invite people from other cities, and they based upon this traditional knowledge system, traditional knowledge, water is retained, now ponds it there, right? So that way some technologies that can go really ahead. But at the same time, when we see at the health system, you see, usually in the health system, we go for traditional healing system, but at the same time, we have Ayurvedic system, we have allopathic system, which is getting much and much popular. And as
Mm-hmm.
Praveenji has tried to indicate it, they still go for traditional healing system, not going for. So in that context, we need to separate out those two things, you see, which are good and which need to be updated along the modern system. And sometimes I think that is quite challenging. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Bhupan. And this very interesting and very interesting discussion. But then we have to watch the time, and
Yeah.
though I have so many important questions to put up here, so time doesn't allow me. So now let me invite Mr. Radip Maharajan to deliver the closing remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Finch. Good evening, everyone. I'm Radip Maharjan, one of the co-leaders from Evaluate Nepal. As we come to the end of today's session, I would like to quickly reflect on what we have discussed in this webinar. So first of all, I would like to thank our distinguished speakers, Praveen Chitakar sir and Dr. Bhuvan Bajajari sir for their valuable presentation. So Praveen sir shared about pilot study on identifying the indicators for SDG 3. He also explained the different objectives of the study, including methodology and findings, highlighting the perspectives of indigenous community from one of the rural community of Nepal. Likewise, he also shared the experience of the workshop on the strengthening our young indigenous evaluators from Nepal, which is also the very important step for strengthening the indigenous evaluators among the youths. Likewise, Dr. Bhuvan sir presented on the voices of indigenous communities, training workshop for journalists supported by the seed grant and germination grants. His work showed how engaging he has showed that the workshop has engaged different stakeholders like journalists and parliamentarians and other networks that can help to raise awareness and strengthen the indigenous evaluation. So with this, I would like to also thank all of our participants for your questions and discussion. Your engagement has made this session very fruitful and showed how committed we all are to the learning and working together. Likewise, I would also like to thank all of our organizer, APEA, including all members from different countries and speakers for bringing us together. On the behalf of Evaluate Nepal, I would like to thank all of you for your valuable insights and your time. I believe the ideas and lessons we have heard from our speakers will continue to guide us in different stages of our work. And I hope we will carry this spirit for working together. With this, I would like to hand over Dr. Funso. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Radip. And now the next exciting thing, exciting event that is upcoming for APEA is the. I'm sure most of you who are here knows about this event. It's the 5th APEA conference, which is happening in Tokyo in the month of November, which will happen from 11th to 14th November, and the registration is now open. And if you are interested to hear and update about the evaluation happening in the region, please register and please join us in Tokyo in the month of November 2025. And the next thing is there are so many activities happening in APEA, Asia Pacific Evaluation Association. These are something like seeding grant activity highlights, and there are VOPEs who are participating in this grant activity and working on the indigenous evaluation practices and trying to promote the indigenous evaluation in different countries. And there are resources in our website. You can go here and check out our website and resources. And there is also the germinating grant activity, which we heard today from Nepal. And there are other countries who have participated. And you can also find the resources on the website of APEA. And finally, about this, the publication, a study from the blossoming phase of the Eval Indigenous project. You can also have access on the APEA website. With this, I would really like to thank everyone here being present here, and to the two speakers sharing your insightful studies done in Nepal. And I hope we will practice this in our work, and this will really help us to build on very inclusive and the cultural, contextually grounded practice of evaluation. With this, I would like to thank everyone and bring to the close of this webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
For good job, Dr. Punchu and the team. Thank you, and go on. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Take
Stop the
care.
recording.